Hello everybody, it's the 25th of April today and I'm starting a Timey Wimey video on this Wisteria. You might have seen it starring its own little short back in April. I've no idea what time of year you'll be watching this Timey Wimey video. I paid 22 of your finest British pounds, as the saying goes, on this Wisteria at the local supermarket. And it's absolutely covered in bud and going to be quite a sight, I'm sure, in flower. Well, at least I hope so. So I'm not going to do anything today, but I wanted to get a picture of it as bought, and then just run through my ideas of what I'm going to do to it later in the season. Hopefully the sun isn't washing out too much of the colour, but yeah, a lot of bud. But obviously once it's finished flowering, I'm going to want to get rid of all this plaited framework, which is nice in its own right, but not for what I want it to be. Pop the drinks can in there for scale, and you may or may not think me mad, but I was looking on the internet, as one does from time to time, and up popped in my Instagram feed a very nice, very old Chinese wisteria grown as a cascade, and I thought to myself, I don't have one of those. So this is I believe it's a Japanese wisteria, but I want to grow this as a cascade, so I am looking towards, once it's finished flowering, losing a lot of this top growth, keeping the trunk, and maybe training one of these pieces down and round to begin forming a cascade. It's going to take a number of years, but I'll make a playlist, and hopefully I've got a number of years to do it in. I think I said earlier in the video, and when I first got this, that I'd seen online a very interesting cascade form of Wisteria bonsai, and I thought to myself, I think I might like to try that as a project. And so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disentangle this plant from this frame, which somebody has carefully grown it up for some time by the look of it, but I can now remove the entire top portion of that tree, which leaves me with this thing. Now, I can't see any kind of graft at all on this, so I'm assuming, I have to assume therefore, that it's not a grafted variety, which means I can get away with cutting it back quite tightly. What I think I would like to do would be to bring this portion down and around and begin the cascading part, which would leave one of these as the head. And I think I'm going to remove there's a chunk of deadwood there, so I'll start off by removing that, and then I'm going to remove this piece like so. Let's tidy that cut up a bit. Okay, and then this is going to be a longer term project, obviously, not an instant bonsai by any stretch of the imagination. And to grow it on, I'm going to put it into this large pond basket I've got. So I'll just do that off camera. I'm not going to touch the roots. It's been early summer now, so I'm just literally going to plant it into the new pot. I think that we'll let it grow away. Okay, so the tree is happily in its new pot, and what I'm thinking is, rather than wire this branch, I can use these holes, just put a loop of wire. I think I need a longer piece than this existing piece. This obviously is a technique I've used before, using these air pots, and this one in particular. I should be able to bend this branch to the position that I want it. Let's just lock the turntable into position, so it's not fighting me, and then I should be able to put a piece of wire through the holes in the air pot around this branch. Not too tight, so I won't get any wire scarring, but it'll hold it exactly where I want it. I may have to work on this piece coming around a little more, but that's fine, I can do that. This piece I'm just going to leave to help fatten the trunk, and I'm thinking I can see a bud popping here, so I'm going to unlock the turntable, remove that like so. This piece I don't want it becoming the dominant shoot over this one, so again I'm just gonna pop a small piece of wire through those holes. I don't really want this to be a trailing shoot, just to help fatten this trunk. What I'm not happy with is this angle, so I'm going to try and wangle another piece of wire. This has been used before, so it's not very straight, which may give me an issue. That's better, moved you down and in a bit, so I can now try to put a piece of wire through a bit lower down or further forward, and then maybe I can persuade this piece if I can find the end. That's better, to give me more of a angle of dangle that's more pleasing. That's better. Okay, now hopefully I shouldn't, fingers crossed at least, I shouldn't get any scarring, wire scarring on this curve. I'm just going to leave this to grow out for now, probably prune it in the autumn to try and get some flower. Obviously this is going to have to go up on a nice high shelf where it's got plenty of room for this to continue its growth. I have snapped the tip off, unfortunately, just by being clumsy, I suppose. This top part is pretty much all one thickness, so I will see which of these buds shoots and which becomes most viable, and then I may just shorten it back some more once it's actively growing away, but that'll be for a future video. Not a terribly interesting root structure from the top down, but as I said, it's because it's so late in the season, I didn't really want to interrupt the growth of these roots any more than I've had to, so I haven't really touched it. It's a couple of thick surface roots, maybe something more interesting further down when I come to repot this tree. We will see. No sign of any kind of obvious grafting, so hopefully I haven't removed a nice top variety for a less favourable root stock. It's the 29th of June and the tree has responded well up top, and it's shooting out in all directions. Not quite so well down the bottom, although I have now finally got a shoot growing. It took a while to respond, but it has grown probably an inch in the last 2 days, so I'm quite pleased with that. Once it stretches out enough, I can bring it down and into that cascading sweep that I want. For now, I'm actually going to take off some of this and wire that branch down into a sort of horizontal. There we go. I'll pop that back on the bench and we'll come back and look at it later. Here's a quick close-up shot of that new shoot coming from the tip, which, as I say, has grown from there to there in just 2 days, so won't be long, I hope, before it can continue its downward journey. We shall see. It's the 27th of July and this Wisteria is growing away very nicely. It's putting out a lot of top growth and not particularly elongating at this point, which is where I want it to be the weeping tree that I want. I'm just going to let that grow for a bit longer and then I'm going to try and wire it downwards. What I want to do is trim and wire a couple of these pieces at the top, and then hopefully I'll have the beginnings of a something in the future. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this long shoot that's come out of the trunk. So I'll get rid of that, and then out of this branch we have a couple of long shoots. I'm going to cut that back and I'm going to cut it back to there, and then I'm going to pop a little piece of wire in. And the great thing with these pond planter pots is they give you lots of anchor points where you can just pop a piece of wire through, pull a branch down to roughly where you want it, and anchor it in position. Sorry, my hand's probably in the way, and the foliage probably isn't helping either. So yes, I've just popped that piece of wire through the pot, looped around, and now I begin to have the formation of a horizontal branch. As this piece grows out, I can Probably do the same with that. And got another piece coming out of the trunk at the back here, which I'm in two minds about. No, I'm just going to remove that. This piece I'm going to remove also. Which brings us back to this branch, and I'm just going to pinch out the growing tip on a couple of those pieces, and then the centre trunk I'm just going to leave for now. It hasn't really done very much. As I say, this weeping part needs to extend more before I can do very much with it, but eventually yeah, we'll be able to work that down. It's the 15th of August now, and I may have a bit of an ongoing battle on my hands to create a Cascade bonsai from this particular Wisteria. It's steadfastly trying to throw up shoots in an upward direction. I'm going to cut that one back to there. New shoots are popping where I pruned it before in an upward direction, but that's okay. I can possibly put a bit of wire on those. The new head is starting to shoot out, and again I've got upward growths coming from where I pruned this particular branch. I'm going to leave them for now, but my cascading shoot, which is here, is not growing as well as I would have hoped. At present we've got probably all of 2 inches. However, my hope, my plan is that if I continue to prune the top growth, eventually this will elongate further, at which point I can wire it down to continue to cascade. Time will tell, and at the end of the day it's just another one of my silly little experiments that I like to do because I can, and because I was able to pick this up relatively cheaply. If it doesn't work, what the hey. I'm going to see if I can just pull this down a little more horizontally. I've placed a piece of wire through the holes in the air pod. Well, it's actually a pond planter, but it fulfills the same function. And then I'm just going to hold that down like so, and then I might even attempt to wire that piece as well. Oh, I can feel disapproval from bonsai purists, but it gets the job done. I'm going to nip out that piece. I don't think it's going to really help me in the long run. Okay, and I'm also going to nip out that. That's it. Back on the bench with a horizontal branch. Okay, it's the 17th of October today, and just pop that can in for scale if I haven't already earlier in this video. My cascading Wisteria project. Well, I'm really not quite sure how successful it's going to be. The tree is still putting out some side growths from these branches straight upwards, but they're not very long, as you can see, since the last section of video. A little shoot about 3 inches long. I'm going to put a little piece of wire just to bring that down to the horizontal, and then I shall probably prune it a little bit over winter, and maybe, just maybe, you know, this is a plant old enough to flower, because I bought it in flower, so just maybe it'll give me a little show come spring. There we go. If you're a first time viewer to my channel, yes, I know I'm not the neatest of wirers, but I don't show my trees. This is purely for my fun and my enjoyment, and these videos are a record of what I've done, and if they help people along the way, or people find them interesting, that's good too. So anyway, now if I remove, well, not remove, but just push to one side the foliage, I can zoom you in a little bit. Hopefully you can see that we have the beginnings of an interesting trunk. As I say, it hasn't grown as vigorously as I would have hoped, but maybe it's just filling the pot with root. I've had some nice branching on these side branches, nothing particularly to the rear yet. I do have a small branch, it's just beginning to do a little something. And where I'm having difficulty is this piece that I've wired down to become the Cascade. This piece that's been wired down to perform and become the cascading portion has stubbornly decided it's going to grow straight up, and there's only inch and a half, 2-3 centimeters of growth since I pruned it, and as they say, stubbornly straight up. I'm going to risk it for a biscuit if I can find a small piece of wire that I can reuse, just to try and bring it down a little bit more horizontal. I wonder if I can get a piece through the wire mesh of the pot. No, I'm not going to be able to get it in and out again. It would have been useful, but never mind. And avoid the leaves. I don't think I'm going to get it to point downwards without snapping it, although it's got a bit of flex in it. I was hoping it would put out, you know, one of those nice long whippy shoots. To continue that cascading portion, but well, maybe next year. I do have another video, or another project rather, in the works, where I've layered from my white wisteria, and they are naturally quite droopy, whippy shoots on that, to become a cascading bonsai also. So if this needs to be reworked into an upright form or something else in the future, well, there's no reason why not. So anyway, that gives it a little bit of movement. I'm usually worried I'm going to snap it, but if I do, it'll regrow, I guess. Yeah, well, that's heading downwards. I think I'll end the video here. The tree is beginning to go into autumn colours and will soon be in dormancy. There's an odd little shoot growing from the base of the trunk there that I think I'll remove. It's in the wrong place. And yeah, quick 360. And then I'll just say thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, subscribing and commenting below. Most of all, please stay safe everybody.